Okay, this tutorial is going to be on the basics of warp cycles. It's not necessarily independent to Anime Studio, but it'll definitely help. Okay, so I've made a character. I've just called him Bob, because it's a fairly generic name for a fairly generic person. As you can see, blue foot, blue hand, and you might not be able to see, but red hand and red foot. The reds are the ones that are behind, the blues are in front, so it's easy to tell which leg's in front or which arm's in front. Okay, now at the moment, you can see that his legs are apart. This is one of the 4 poses, the basic poses for walk cycles. So there's like that, then there's at the highest point, then there's the lowest point again, then the highest point. So it goes low, high, low, high. Now, you also notice that this one and that one are exactly the same, except for the legs swapped around. And the same with the other two. The legs are in just different places. Now if you played this, it wouldn't look very good. So as you can see here, it doesn't look much like a walk cycle. So what we need to do is add some in-between frames. So you know you've got low and high, but you also have what goes in between. So low, middle, high, middle, low, middle, high, middle, low, middle, high, middle, low, middle, high, middle, low, etc. Those are the basic ones that you need. You just need the low point, the midpoint, the high point, the midpoint, the low point, high point, midpoint, low point, etc. And this is just a very basic walk pose. You could have ones which are more simple or more complex. But let's see what happens when we smooth the animation out and let the animation program put in some more in-betweens. So here you can see it looks a lot better, and I've added some arm movements to make it look a bit more realistic. Now we'll look at a slightly different walk cycle. Now you can tell here that already it's slightly different. The character's lower down and the hands are up in the air. Now this is the low point, and you can see the high point, the low point, high point, low point, and so on. So as you might be able to tell, this is a sneak one. But it's not just as simple as going in between, because if you just went in between, it would look kind of rubbish, like this. You see, it doesn't look very good because he's just going down flat foot, and that's not how somebody sneaks. To make it look good, you're going to need to add in your own in-betweens. So, the middle is like that, then we're on to the high, then we don't just go straight to low, we go stretched out low, like when somebody sneaks they go on their tiptoes, and then low. So middle, top, middle, low, middle, top, middle, low. Now this is with the middle. It doesn't exactly look like it's in between that and that. But the middle doesn't always have to be in the middle. It just has to be how you want to get from part A, which is the top, to part B, which is the bottom. And in this case, we want him to look like he's sneaking. So this is what it looks like with the new thing added in. So now it's looking a lot better because you can see that he's actually stretching out as if he's trying to cushion his foot as it goes down. Now, you won't always need to have exaggerated movements. So, for example, in this one, the high doesn't look so much different from the low. That's a high, that's a low, high, low. And also, since the movements are so little, you don't need to have any in-between frames because the transition is so little. It doesn't need any definition. It will just go easily. So here's what it looks like animated. So you can see that even without any in-betweens, it looks perfectly natural because the movement is so little. So now that you know the basics of how to make a walk cycle, you should be able to make your own. Tomorrow's tutorial will be how to make walk cycles in Anime Studio and how to use some of its tools to help you with that.